my swim time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my swim time. Gonna mess up your whole mind. This is my swim time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my swim time. Gonna mess up your whole mind.
Welcome to Work the Left Side. I'm hyper hyped to announce tonight's guest. I am joined by the one, the only Kourtney. How are we doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm alright. You?
Good. Yeah, 5 by 5. Too blessed to be stressed and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to this though, because obviously we've had it in the books for a while, and again, somebody else. I've talked to a lot of people from Pursuit and a lot of people from UKW now as well, kind of thing. I seem to be that crossover. I think it's because obviously we work quite closely with Blackheart. Blackheart have a lot of UKW people involved as well, so it's just nice to speak to somebody local as well. That's the thing, because obviously I'm in Leeds, UKW. Hopefully they haven't moved since I last checked, but sort of Batley based.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so I say I'm in Leeds. I'm Morley, so I'm literally just like 5 minutes away from Batley, so it doesn't get much more local than being in Batley itself. So yeah, obviously that's your home at the minute. UKW is where you do your thing.
Yeah, it is. I enjoy it as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, when we started talking, obviously I kind of you popped up on my radar because obviously I was keeping an eye on Pursuit, what they're doing, people that are there. So obviously I kind of clocked you at Pursuit, and then when we got talking, you was like, yeah, you started there, you're at UKW now. So I'll get the generic stuff out of the way very quickly then. Obviously you started at Pursuit. I presume that was the first place that you trained?
Yes, it was. And before they moved to where they are now, I was there before they moved as well.
Yeah. So the old place, because they relocated sort of late last year, didn't they, kind of thing?
Yeah.
What made you so what kind of inspired you then to think, right, you know what, I want to do this, the wrestling life is the life for me?
I always wanted to do it, I watched it with my older brother, and he always used to do the choke slam on me when I was being bad, and I kept on challenging him, one day I will beat you, and yeah, but yeah, he ain't really around anymore, but I know that wrestling reminds me of him and the good times and that lot.
Oh, bless. So that's a damn good reason then for sort of doing it. So obviously then, yeah, you decided, you wanted to do it. I presume, you did what everybody does. Google is your best friend. Have a look at what's around. And obviously, I know when we spoke, you said that you did the, was it a 6-week course at Pursuit, sort of the beginner's course?
Yeah, I think that started in February. And then I had to take about 2 months off because I had leg surgery. And then I returned back.
Oh, okay. So, well, I didn't know about the surgeries. Everything okay now? You're good? Everything's kind of...
Yeah, it's fine now. I had to focus veins.
Okay, so that could, that's, if not undealt with, that can kind of get really nasty, can't it? So get gone. So but yeah, I know, again, when we talked, you mentioned again, I know from speaking to other people who have done, who started off with that 6-week course, that's Liam's kind of course, isn't it? He kind of gives you that introduction and makes you run the ropes and puts you through your paces to see if you enjoy it and if you can handle it, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's just to see whether it's your thing or if you can cope with taking the bumps or the pain and that lot.
Yeah, I can imagine a lot of people have kind of walked in being like, that wrestling looks awesome. And then as soon as you take a back bump or you get dropped on your head, no, that's it. I'm out. I'll go back to just watching it on TV kind of thing. So, but there you went from Pursuit, and as we said, you're rocking it at UKW at the minute. Again, I've spoken to lots of people there. I know Hamza's was holding a title last time I spoke to him. I don't know if he still is. I kind of lose track of what UKW are doing sometimes. But again, I know there are a lot of very cool people there. So, how's the training going there? Is it obviously kind of just still working on the foundations? Are you getting into the character development and stuff now?
I mean, I do have a slight idea on my character. And, like people keep asking me, do you want to be a face or heel? And I always wanted to be a face because every time I hurt someone, like in training, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, yeah, like people keep telling me, stop apologizing, it's fine. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help it.
You apologize for apologizing and you just get stuck in this loop. But I'm sorry.
It's so bad. But like at the moment, I'm a secretary for Drew and she's a heel. And yeah, I mean, I think what they're trying to do is me trying to make her a good person. But it isn't working out.
So eventually, depending, there's different turns and twists here and there. I'm guessing, it's the wonderful world of wrestling. But, it kind of sounds like at some point, you're trying to make her a better person. It ain't happening. You can break off. You can have like a feud or something, and you can be the face. Or maybe you embrace a heel life, and that's it. You two just become two dastardly heels and run amok among everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we're both blonde, so it would kind of make sense.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure Mickey James and Trish Stratus back in the day, both blondes, best of enemies. Don't mean anything. You can have a blonde face and a blonde heel. Just you don't have to be a heel just because you're blonde. But I guess obviously, yeah, because I've noticed, the whole secretary thing. Then, that's why you're rocking the white shirt and the black tie, and so obviously from what I saw you at Pursuit to how I see you now at UKW, very, very different. You kind of like, you got this new look. I presume that's to go with the character.
Yeah, but luckily, me wearing the uniform has stopped since yesterday at the promo, so I'm happy for that. I don't need to wear the tie.
I thought I looked pretty dapper as well, especially if you're being a heel, though. It's always good to have a tie. Just you can kind of strangle somebody or smack the head with the tie. It's very handy if you're a heel. But so yeah, I mean, obviously, you've answered one of the questions, I should say, the heel and the face persona. Does the appeal of not sort of having to apologize, like you sort of said, I know it's in your character to be like, I'm sorry, kind of thing. But if you embrace the full heel, and you can be like, no, not apologizing, don't want to apologize. I get to be a bad guy, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I was starting to like being a heel when I was with Drew, but there was just so much in me that said, no, baby face, like I suit that. But yeah.
What was you kind of obviously when you as you sort of said, you was watching it with your brother and stuff like that when you was watching it before, so were you always kind of more drawn? Because again, I think that's different people's personalities. Some people are drawn to the faces, are drawn to the good guys, whereas other people are just kind of like, oh yeah, I love me a bit of a baddie. I love that kind of roguish cheekiness or being able to get away with stuff. So I'm presuming then you were always kind of drawn to the good guys.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Again, I kind of see it, but I just think obviously I want to be a nice person in everyday life. I can get a chance to be a bit gnarly and get away with doing not nasty stuff, and it not be my fault. It's just a character. It's not me. I'm not doing it. I think you should embrace the heelness.
Yeah, I think as well. So.
That's just my outlook. I'm just like, right, it's because I've got an excuse. You know, I can be a bit of a pardon my French, I can be a bit of a twat, and nobody can blame me. It's because it's not me; it's the character. I'm just a heel. You know, I'm paid to be that way. So,
Yeah.
so obviously, then you know, you talked about it. You used to be into it before you started doing it. What was your, you know, who were your inspirations then? Did you kind of get into wrestling with anybody in mind that you kind of wanted to be like? Like, I love that moveset. I love that kind of attitude. I love that persona. You know, I kind of like, if I could pick a bit from this, you know, I'll be happy. Does anybody kind of, was anyone your blueprint?
I mean, when I was younger, like I'd say about 4 or 5, like China always stuck up to me. Because like you just see her walking down to the ring and she's like massive and you know, like I'm like, wow, she's strong. You know, wouldn't want to mess with her. And you know, like as WWE had more women in, like Liv Morgan stuck up to me. And Becky Lynch.
The man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never really got the whole Becky Lynch. I kind of get what, you know, the push to and everything like that. I was never massive. Liv Morgan, I think, is very, very cool though. And I kind of like, she's her and Alexa Bliss. I think, you know, were the two that kind of like little scrappy things for me. Just kind of like, you know what, I would not, you know, I'm legitimately like scared. I'm like, no, I would not mess with them two. They would kick the shit out of me. Very, very scared.
Yeah.
It's embracing that fieriness, that's more, you know, that I can't even think of the word, but just the tenacity, that's the word. You know, you kind of coming across, and I think if you can capture that and make the audience believe it, you just kind of like, yeah, okay, you know, nobody wants to mess with you because no, you are legit.
Yeah.
But the so when you get into it, then obviously like, so you obviously you can't be, you know, China's a great example, but you can't, you know, unless you're a genetic freak kind of thing, or you know, doing stuff that may be prohibited, you can't really replicate, you know, that size or that strength. So you're obviously looking, like sort of said, at the Becky Lynch's, the Liv Morgans, and trying to work it that way. You know, once you've got the basics down, what did you get into it? Sort of wanting to be a high flyer, or did you want to be technical? Did you want to be a lucha? Did you, you know, again, or was you just open to all possibilities and just seeing what felt natural?
I'm just open to all of the, you know, like high flying and all of that lot. Like,
Yeah.
I was part of the Royal Air Force as well. So I think something to do with me, you know, like air flying could have, you know, that connection with my character as well.
Oh, what's the name? I'm trying to think of who was it? I can't remember the name now. In
Lacey.
Lacey Evans. Sorry, yes, of course, yeah, that's Lacey Evans. You know, it kind of made a bit of a reference to that, and you know, that was always kind of part of her character. Yeah, you know, I think that would be kind of very, very cool. Obviously, the only other kind of person like that I can think of is Wing Commander Nash, and you know, I don't think you've got anything to worry about on that side of things, comparison wise. So, yeah, but again, if that's, you know, if you want to tap into that, they say sometimes the best characters are the ones, you know, that have an element of truth behind them, so you can draw on it and you kind of know what you would do because it's you.
Yeah.
But again, though, it depends if you want to sort of stay to the truth or just live in that kind of fantasy, you know, just be somebody who you don't have to be in the everyday world kind of thing. I think that's one of the great things about wrestling. If you can lose yourself in it, you have that possibility to be, you know, it's like a total form of escapism.
It is. Like, at the moment, my family is like breaking apart, and I'm just there, like, I want to go to wrestling, so I go, you know, to like escape from all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's, oh shit, but obviously, you know, that's so exciting to hear, you know, kind of,
fine.
Used to, go through that. That's awful. I've been there. I've kind of been on the other end of it, and yeah, it sucks. But it does help. At least if wrestling is kind of giving you that kind of hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, just in a peace, that sort of tranquility where you don't have to worry about anything else. You can just focus on what you're doing. Like I say, and also at training, I presume you've got a good group of people around you that you can talk to and have a laugh with.
Yeah, especially at UKW. Like, there's a small group of us, and like me, and I think it's Ruby. Like, we have inside out jokes. It's funny, and she understands my looks. Like, like whether I'm upset, she'll know.
Yeah.
And that lot, and yeah, she's just amazing.
That's awesome. That's what you need in a tag team partner. That would be like, you sort of say, when you get to tag team wrestling, you should be able to communicate with just a look. That's something for you to think about. If they're tag team sorted out, you don't even have to talk to each other. You can just literally be like, smashing it without just by a look, what each other's going to do.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, obviously then going forward, you're doing this thing at UKW. So at the minute, like you sort of said, you're kind of working as you're going out and about with somebody. You're kind of like the second. Obviously that person's at the front. You're there. But I would presume, at some point that is you are going to jump to the front. You're going to become all eyes will be on you. I presume that's going to be the end game. That's the point of all this, is to build you up, get that emotional connection with the audience. And then when something happens, you get that reaction. And like I say, if you are being the face in all of this, you want that sort of face pop when you eventually turn on them, or, you'll have the audience in the palm of your hand, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's my goal anyway. Like, to have the audience's attention all on me, and that lot. But yeah.
How do you find it? Because obviously UKW do, they do like the weekly shows. They've got like the TV tapings and everything like that. That must be a really weird but very cool kind of environment to learn in as well. Everything you're doing is, it's being recorded, it's being, watched. You've got this weekly audience. You're on like a weekly show, basically.
Yeah, so I'm on whenever Drew's on, if I can make it there or not. And last week I did mess up, and it was all on me, like the cameras. And I'm like, no, you can tell I messed up. No.
But how did you mess up? And B, did you kind of react, or did you just, because obviously it's part of learning. You're going to mess up. It's how you react to when you mess up. So that's the thing, was it just a case of like, keep cool, let's pretend that didn't happen and just crack on? Or was it just a case of like, shit, freeze it up and being like a deer in headlights?
No, so Drew had Ivy on the ropes, and she was choking her, and Drew nearly, so I'm stuttering now. Oh my days. Drew nearly got counted down to 4, for like choking Ivy. And I was pulling like her hair, but you can tell I wasn't actually pulling it. And and I hit her, but you can tell that was soft. And I'm like, yeah, no, I messed that up, so I walked away.
I don't think, that's not that big of a whoop kind of thing. We've seen professional, we've seen AEW talent, we've seen WWE talent pretend, they're meant to be hitting somebody in the head, and you see they're punching the ring, completely missing the head. So, stuff like that. Yeah, that's just wrestling. As fans, we suspend disbelief. It's okay. If we see stuff like that, we kind of let it go.
Yeah.
So as long as you was, if you was even hitting them or making any kind of contact, then that's still better than the people who are punching the ring as opposed to the person.
Yeah, but I also like chalk star as well. Either that is.
Uh, so, but again, so I mean, it sounds like you've got the storyline, you've got these things going on. So the momentum's there. They're obviously looking to do something with you. They've got. They kind of talked to you in advance. They sort of, obviously, like sort of. I just speculated. At some point, I would presume the eyes are going to be on you. You're going to come out. This is a massive baby face. It just seems like, it seems like a really weird environment to be learning in and performing in, and being on, like a weekly TV kind of thing. It blows my mind. Anytime I speak to anyone from UKW, it's like, nothing but respect, because it's a learning environment with a lot of pressure.
It is, but it's good pressure at the same time. Because backstage, we're like, yes, we did it, and we check up on each other, to make sure that we didn't actually hurt him. And
That's cool. And again, as long as you trust the people you work with, as long as you've got that good group of people, then it's fine. But yeah, don't beat yourself up about the silly, the little mistakes like that, because it's how you learn. It's just one of them things, isn't it? So you'll know next time. Just maybe pull on the hair a little bit more. Maybe just give them a little bit of a tap, a little bit harder. If you get a receipt, then be like, "Oops, sorry." Good. This is the business. I've got to make it look good. So I'll apologise afterwards. If I do it too hard. That'd be my life. Yes. Right. I'm going to hit you. I want it to look good. If I hit you too hard, I apologise. You can do it back to me next week.
That sounds like a plan.
There you go. You see, it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. Obviously, we like I say, we talked Pursuit UKW. Obviously, you got into this. You said, you mentioned WWE stuff. I've spoken to so many people who, before they got into wrestling, they weren't even aware that there was like a British scene or the British independent scene. It was all new to them. Once they get into wrestling, it's kind of like the golden gates. They've opened. They've accessed this whole new world of being like, oh shit, there's other wrestling besides WWE or AEW and stuff. Do you get to go to many other shows as just a fan, or is it just purely, UKW and you're purely just working?
At the moment, well, I do watch WWE and AEW, but I think at the moment I'm going to stick with UKW and focus on the matches. That's part of the storyline I'm in.
Yeah.
And just focus on that.
Are you able to watch WWE and AEW then, and it still be fun? Because again, it's something else that a lot of people talk to me about. They'll sort of say once they got into it, obviously they're no longer watching it they're not just watching it as a fan anymore. They're watching it as, you find yourself taking notes, or you'll find yourself mentally with a little notebook being like, oh, that was pretty cool. Oh no, well, they bolted that up. You end up critiquing stuff instead of just enjoying it, or you're taking notes, or you're thinking about, I could use that, I could steal that. That's now my move. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
as a fan, or are you finding yourself doing this now?
for certain wrestlers, I watch it as a fan. From like the wrestlers I've watched since I was quite young. But now that I'm a wrestler, I'm like, oh, that was a good move. I need to show my coach this and see if I can do it. And, just like if I see a really cool move, like I forgot who it was in AEW, but she was on the top rope and she did about 5 twists. And she landed on the person. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
maybe 3 twists or 2 twists. But that's it. I can imagine, you just kind of sat there, you're watching something and being like, Yes, I could Courtney that. That would definitely work if I did this or this. But yeah, it always kind of intrigues me because obviously, I still get to just watch it as a fan. But the amount of people that I speak to now, they're just like, it kind of being involved in wrestling. It's not ruined it, but it has to be a really good match now for them just to lose themselves in it. They'll always know it's a really good match when they didn't take any notes or they didn't critique anything. They've lost themselves in this 20 minutes of magic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like, but no, I would also obviously recommend. I know you're at UKW, but if you're a wrestling fan, there's a whole scene around you, especially in Yorkshire. There's so many different promotions kicking around, putting on some good shows. And I always hear networking, is the golden word that from speaking to loads of people, that seems to be the key thing. When I'm talking to them about being on shows or getting to shows, they're all like, oh, you've got to network, you've got to get yourself out and about. I presume people have, have had this conversation with you as well, kind of thing, being like, get yourself out there, let people know who you are, see your face.
Yeah, I have had that by family members. They're like, why not? You go to like different companies and try them and not stick with one.
Oh, no, I'm not saying no, you should stick with UK.
Oh.
I'm not saying no, don't kind of do that. But on like, I don't know, if you went to just a True Grit show or like a Tidal show, just as examples, you don't go train there. But if you just went as a fan and watched it, but then people would get to know you or people would see you and be like, okay, I recognize you from UKW. And then, you get talking and then they'll be like, okay, yeah, it's nice to meet you. And then they remember the face, they remember the name. And it's like, that's what I mean by networking. I'm not saying, don't do the dirty on UKW. Just
Sorry, I misunderstood that.
just go out there and sort of, just let people know who you are, really.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll go to, obviously, I go to a lot of True Grit shows and, I see a lot of people working ring crew, True Grit kind of thing, just helping out, mainly a lot of people from Pursuit, like Sky's there and, people like that. But again, it's just, kind of, I don't know, I presume you guys would call it paying your dues, or you just letting people know that you're there if you needed.
Yeah.
But again, it's not for everyone. Not everyone can do it. Again, I've spoken to some people who go crazy and try to get to so many shows and shake so many hands. And then, there's other people who have a life. You can't do that. They're working, like 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, or, they've got other commitments and it's just not possible. So you can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just, again, I'm just happy I'm a fan because it seems like a crazy world once you're inside it, meeting people, shaking hands, all that kind of sort of stuff and being nice. It seems like it's a lot of, it's not always what you know, it's who you know.
It is.
But I mean, what is the goal? Obviously, I know you sort of said so. Let me just rewind because I didn't pick up on this. So you started in February last year. So you're only just over a year. If you take the surgery out of the equation, how long have you been training for?
Around February. September, no. Around 11 months, 11, 12 months.
That's it, not even really a year. Yeah, into the journey yet, are you, kind of thing. So you're still sort of finding your feet and just again, it's one of those things. I think for the first couple of years, it's so much trial and error. Nobody knows what they're going to be or what they're going to do or who they are. Even in the first 12 months, you've got to try so many different things to see what fits.
Yeah.
So what going forward though? Have you got an idea? You mentioned like the whole REF thing. We kind of mentioned like the Lacey Evans. Obviously I think you're going to lean more towards being a face. That seems to be the natural sort of alignment. That seems to be what you want to do. What's the goal? Are you just sort of happy, doing this on a week-to-week basis? Do you kind of want to get yourself built up? Do you want to sort of become the queen of the UK? Do you want to sort of start smashing it in promotions everywhere across the country in a few years?
I mean, at the moment, I think I want to stick with UKW for now, and then try get my name out there by, like attending to shows from Newcastle or London and that lot. But
Newcastle's a good show.
yeah.
A lot of good promotions up in Newcastle. If you do get a chance to venture up there, there's a lot of good stuff going on up in Newcastle. But I mean, even closer to home kind of thing. I sort of said, I mentioned beforehand, Blackheart seem to have, I think they've got a good working relationship with UKW. I don't know. Obviously, I think, Leonie was at UKW. She works Blackheart occasionally as well.
Yeah.
If you know with Blackheart, if you thought about them, or if it might just be something worth having a conversation at some point.
I have thought about it, but I think it's a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
Because I started at UKW in September. So I think it's a little bit too soon for me to move on. But
oh no,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm talking like in a year's time or something. Something kind of to aim towards. Like kind of like, right, okay, if I can get to this in the next 12 months, I can kind of tick that off the list, or I know I'm in the line to be where I want to be, kind of thing. Kind of set goals along the way so you can kind of tick them off.
Yeah.
That's what I would think. But again, I just thinking of random things or promotions nearby. So obviously at the minute you're kind of getting that. Would it be right to say your whole thing at UKW, you kind of like the valet at the minute? Then you're coming out and helping out in matches, causing distractions, getting involved, not actually being in the match.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy like distracting the ref sometimes and that lot, but a lot of my it's like, I can't wait to actually be in that ring and wrestle.
So that's it. I mean, so obviously, yeah, you're working kind of that valet angle at the minute. Then kind of like the manager, the distraction. You kind of get to be the you get to be the baddie for now, because obviously, you're jumping on the good guys' back, or you're hitting them when they're down, or you're distracting the ref.
Yeah.
Did you kind of look into anyone? Obviously, as an old school fan, I'm thinking like Sensational Sherry. I'm thinking like the old school managers. I'm thinking about people like that used to be Sharmella, Booker T, the old school people who used to be at ringside that just used to like grab the leg, or just be a massive pain in the arse to the good guys. Have you kind of pulling inspiration from anyone or for that kind of sort of thing, or are you just going into it knowing what you want to do?
I think I'm just like going into it and that lot.
Have you ever watched any, like, obviously I'm throwing names out here for, obviously, my experiences, a few years prior to yours kind of thing. So I meant managers aren't really a thing that you see much more anymore. So, you're doing the valet thing. It's kind of like, it's kind of cool because you don't see it very much in British wrestling now. You don't really see the managers or the valets. It's just kind of like, the only other example I can think of at the minute really is Eve Bateman when she comes out with Jack Maxwell at Planet. I can't really think of, somebody who's causes a distraction. So I guess you've got that freedom to do what you want to do.
Yeah, I do.
But, like you said, though, you're just waiting to get in the ring. That's going to be the day when they turn around to you and be like, right, we're going to push you now. you're having a one-on-one match with somebody.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Who would it be? You know, if you from all the UKW peeps that you train with, you know, everybody that you kind of work with or that you know, who would you trust or who would you want to have your, you know, the first push with, that first match with, kind of thing?
I'd have to say Ruby, because Ruby knows what moves I'm capable of, and you know, I do trust her when I'm doing like the, what is it called? I forgot the move now. Oh, hip toss. I trust her when I'm doing that, and yeah, she's just like really nice, and after she does make sure I'm okay.
That's the thing, you know, because you know, the thing with wrestling is it's got to be 100%. You know, you've got to trust that person. So you know, when you're in there, any hesitation, you know, you could end up being injured or hurt. So you've got to trust the person. So yeah, my fingers crossed. Then you know, you get that match, you know, with Ruby, and I'm sure you'll smash it. That'd be amazing.
Hopefully, I'm hoping so. Anyway.
So again, though, like I sort of said, you know, you're only 11 months into the journey, kind of thing. So I'm just, sometimes I kind of forget sometimes how long people, you know, work for. You know, I get to speak to people who've been like a year in, 20 years in, 10 years in. I kind of jump the gun or I get too excited and I'm just like, oh, you could do this, you could do this. It's like, right, I got to slow down. You know, you've been doing it for a year. I need to do it for a year. Like, right, calm down. So, but yeah, the whole Valet thing, I think that's awesome as well, though. You know, you kind of, the problem when you're doing a Valet, though, is you've got to embrace the heel, I suppose. You know, you've got to, you know, if you're tripping people up, the audience are going to boo you. You can't trip somebody up and then be like, sorry, my bad. I can't see you doing that for too long, without the face coming out, kind of thing. You know, without you just being like, as a character, I can't do this anymore. You know, I can't keep.
Yeah. I'll end up apologising as a heel. That won't be good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can't do it, can you? You know, as this character, they're trying to build you up. And it's all like, kind of like, again, you know, there's been reluctant valets. I can think, you know, in the past, I think TNA and other places, you know, where they'd kind of be stood there, like, looking like, I really don't want to do this, or I really don't want to do this. And the person shouting at them, berating them, be like, right, you help me out, or, you know, trip them up or hit them. Or, you know, they distract the referee and they're pointing at you, be like, get him. Well, I get the referee. And you're just like, I don't want to. Yeah, I can imagine it being really hard and kind of tricky one to kind of pull off.
Yeah. But luckily, yesterday wasn't so bad for me.
That's good. That's it, though. I mean, like you sort of said, you know, you're going to get these moments, but hopefully they pull the, you know, like I sort of said, you know, you get that match sooner, because, I mean, you know how it is, you know, you can't drag these things on. And if you don't want the audience to lose interest in it, or you don't want the audience to start thinking of you as a heel, if you're like a face, you know, they want to kind of sort of see you as being like, oh, you know, they're making Kourtney do this, or, you know, she might be being a little bit gnarly at the minute, but we still kind of, you know, we feel for her, or, you know, we want to root for her. And then when that moment comes where you just stop, like, no, I ain't doing this anymore, you know, the crowd are just going to go, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that happened yesterday, like similar, because Drew wanted to get the belt and they were like, no, you know, but she snatched it off me and I was like, no.
So you was involved, but you wasn't involved. You wasn't a willing participant. You know, you was kind of there. You was kind of forced into it. So you kind of kept that baby faceness about you while still being stood with the heel. And that's the thing. Yeah, you know, the audience will pick up on that, and it would be kind of like, you know, a few more times like that, they'll just start to root for you and be like, you know, thinking again, I don't know how far back, you know, you're obviously a lot younger. I'm thinking of like Batista when he was in Evolution kind of thing, and he eventually did the thumbs down to Triple H. You know, he was the bad guy, but everybody knew he was eventually going to become a face, and they teased it and they worked it. And then as soon as he did the thumbs down, it was like, yeah, it was awesome. I kind of obviously presume that's what eventually, fingers crossed, will be your moment. You'll eventually get that thumbs down, and then everybody will be like, yes, let's freaking go.
Hopefully.
I mean, if they talk to you, obviously, I don't want to spoil anything, for people watching it. I know plans change in wrestling, but I say, just from talking to you now, yeah, you've got that babyface sort of persona. You're very easy to root for, kind of thing. I wouldn't want to boo you, kind of thing. I definitely would be a lot more comfortable cheering you. So I presume, yeah, like you said, at some point you are going to get to smash it, and you're going to get to work as a face, and then everybody will be cheering, and Kourtney merch, foam fingers, all the works.
I'm actually working on like a spare t-shirt of mine, like as a merch, but I don't know like how to set it yet.
Okay, what do you think? Like, got an idea for it, or design, or?
Just my signature, but with like a little bow, like next to the K. So the K is here, then a little bow, then a KD.
Okay, that'd be cool. Well, like, you need to get these things ready for, like, as of whenever the face push comes. When you sort of set the world in motion, you set the bad guys on the path to run away. You become, the face that everybody's cheering for. Yeah, get that merch ready, because people are going to want to buy it, and you can be like, yes.
Hopefully. It depends if it's good enough.
Yeah, I should say, I mean, again, though, where you are, with who you're training with, it's one of those things. You're surrounded by people who know stuff. Ask somebody. Speak to anybody there that's got merch. Where did you get your merch from? How did you come up with the idea? I presume everybody's would be quite open and willing, to help as well.
Yeah, they are.
Because I don't think you'd still be there, like you sort of said, if they were. It must be a nice place. And merch is part of the, it's the whole wrestling world now. Everybody, at some point will have merch. It's something you've got to think about. It's like social media as well. I'm a firm believer of, I think once you start this journey, once you get established, social media is a great platform. It's free. You can start putting highlight reels on there. You can start putting promo pics on there. You can let people see what you can do. It's free advertising, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, that's my viewpoint. Like your Instagram. Obviously, you got highlight reels on Instagram. If you start getting to record what you're doing at UKW or stuff like that, or in future when you start having these matches, start getting the babyface reactions. You capture that stuff on camera, you stick it on your Instagram, and then it's just like a CV, isn't it? Like, if you're applying for a job, you can just be like, well, check out my Instagram, and it's all there. People can be like, oh shit, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I could do.
But that's how I view it. Obviously, when I'm trying to hype up work the left side stuff, I always post random shit that we're doing on or people that that I've got coming up soon. It's like I've tagged you in a few posts, just being like, coming soon to work the left side, Kourtney, and obviously you've got the episode graphic, and hopefully some people will see it and be like, oh shit, okay, cool, I want to watch that, I want to hear what she's got to say. Job's a good one. So yeah, to me that's what social media is. It's just a free platform for advertising how great you are.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it anyway. Forget all the negative stuff on there. I filter all that out. I just go on there, hype everybody up, and get off again. So that's what I would say. When you've got more footage and more stuff that you can put on, make the most of it.
Yeah, I think that's the problem right now, because like there ain't that much footage or pictures of me. But I'm hoping as soon as I'm in the ring, there will be loads.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When you got that kind of stuff going on, you got the matches, you got people talking. It's just I think the problem is as well, a lot of people, like, so again, reminding myself how far along you are, you're still early days kind of thing, is it's all confidence. You've got to build that confidence up. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to have that confidence to be able to put on social media or even just in person, to be like, you want to look at me, you want to check out what I'm doing, because it is that good. I am that good. I know what I'm doing. But again, that will come with confidence. When you've had more matches. I think you'll be, if we spoke again in a year's time, I think I'll be talking to you and you'll be like, oh my God, I did this last week, or I did this 2 months ago. Did you see this match that I had? I think again, it'll all come with confidence over the next year.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but like I say, just keep doing what you're doing. It'll. It's hard to kind of, again, I'm speaking like I know what I'm talking about. I don't, obviously I've never done what what you do, or but I would like to sort of think I've spoken to enough people, I've got a bit of an idea. I can just sort of be like, from experiences or from what I know. But the key thing as well though is enjoy it, obviously, and that's why you're at UKW, because you said to me, that feels like a second home now. You're so comfortable at UKW, and everybody that's there, it's just kind of like a happy place.
It is.
So, but so in a year's time, then, right? I kind of going to say this because I sort of said, about having little boxes to tick off. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Have a second think about it. But we've talked about, you want that match, that first match, when you get that babyface reaction, you kind of want to get the momentum going. I think the fans are going to be behind you. If we spoke again in a year's time, and we had a few boxes to tick off, what would you want them to be? Would it to be, to get a belt in UKW, to be like the most successful babyface in UKW the next time we speak? Will it have been to have sold out of merch at a show?
I'd say being the best babyface.
Yeah.
And yeah, probably, hopefully, getting some merch out on that lot.
What about a belt? How do you sort of, again, with belts, there's two mindsets with belts. There's kind of like, some people see them as a prop, they don't mean anything. Me personally, I think of titles as, if somebody gives you a belt, it's like a promotion, at work or something like that. They're trusting you, they're giving you this belt. I've got to think you've got to be thinking, that women's belt would look pretty boss on my shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, like I said last night to Drew in the promo, I can't wait to be women's champion.
I didn't even see the promo, but I knew it. Yes.
And Drew snapped at me, and yeah, that was the end of the promo. But I would love to have the women's champion.
Planting seeds already then. That's awesome. So yeah, obviously I've not seen that promo yet. I'm not up to date. I'm a few weeks behind with the UKW stuff. So so there we go. Already planting the seeds, making people think, how would Kourtney look with the belt? Would she be a good champion? So there we go. That's So I will pretty much guarantee I will eat my hat in a year's time if you have not held that belt. If we talk again in a year, you have not held that belt, I will have some ketchup on standby and I will eat my hat. If you haven't had that belt, we are not talking in a year's time, because I am not eating my hat. But I'm that confident that you will have it. That's fine. I will. I won't have to eat my hat, because if you're already cutting promos like that, UKW must be thinking like, right, cool. They wouldn't even let you sort of say that or put that into people's minds if they didn't think, at some point down the road, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will. But yeah, I like that as a as an ending. I like the thought of you being champ. I think that's kind of like, that's what we can look forward to at some point over the next few months. And then if I do get to talk to you again, if you've enjoyed this, and you're up for another chat, next time I speak to you, I want to see you there with this, with the belt on your shoulder. So I think, I don't even think, I know it's going to happen. It's not a spoiler. It's a promise. There we go. That is going to happen. But we've mentioned Instagram. If you want people to kind of build up the fan base now, build your brand, where can people find you on Instagram?
So it's just that Kourtney Davis, but the K, no. Yeah, it's with a K for Kourtney, then Davis. But no E. People always put an E in it, and I'm like, no!
VIS. It's not VIS.
Yeah.
VIS. That's the one. But yeah, obviously, Kourtney with a K. So that is the wrestling Kourtney. Kourtney with a K will kick your. The K is for kick your ass, because that's what Kourtney will do. So that was really cheesy. I kind of really regret saying that now, but I don't. But obviously, obviously hit Kourtney up, give her a follow, keep your eyes out on UKW. Everything that's going on. Say it's a really weird, unique kind of promotion, as I sort of say, with your training, with having the weekly stuff. You guys work a 20-foot ring as well, don't you?
Pardon?
Is it a 20-foot ring still at you guys work at UKW? Isn't it? It's a massive ring you guys work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that still blows my mind. So I just had to put that out there, because that's, obviously, well, the difference. When you was at Pursuit, I think it's like a 14-inch or something, and then you go to UKW and the ring's huge.
It's massive, yeah.
Your cardio.
I noticed that as soon as I started at UKW, I'm like, wow, I'm quite small compared to PPW. This ring is massive.
Your cardio game goes up. You have to level up on your cardio just to run those ropes. That's like freaking 4 steps to 8 steps from side to side kind of thing. It's crazy. But no, please obviously hit Kourtney up on Instagram. Give her a follow, show some support, buy some merch when it does come out. But no, it's been awesome. Thank you, so much for. Apologies, I kept forgetting as well. Like I said, I get overexcited. I'm just kind of like, oh, you need to do this. But yeah, I keep forgetting. You're still a baby in the wrestling world. You've only been doing it for, like I say, for a year. So, but hopefully you've enjoyed the talking to me.
Yeah, I did, and thank you for the opportunity.
It's all good. Like I say, we'll do it again. Next time we do it, I want to see that on your shoulder. See that strap, see that gold. Obviously, everybody else, thank you for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, share, comment, do all the generic stuff I ask you to do every episode. I'm busy, man, this week. I'm back tomorrow with Candy Stan from Wrestle Island, just on the back of his match against Charles Crowley. And then on Thursday, I am joined by Bobby Cash and DJ King as we are royally rumbled, and it's 1992. So keep your eyes peeled. I will be knackered by Thursday, so if I fall asleep on that episode, I apologise. But, thank you for watching. And we'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.